Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. It's 2 in the morning Saturday, and it's late. I was just about to go to bed. Just checked the news right before I went to bed, and I saw the story about 63 63 remains of fetuses found at a Detroit funeral home, and this funeral home is Perry Funeral Home. It's different than the other Detroit funeral home, Cantrell, which had a story of originally it was 11 infants that were found in two different, one, some in a box and others, I think it was 8 in a box, like a cardboard box, and 3 in a child's casket, individually wrapped in plastic bags. And the person from the Detroit Police Department said that the infants in the box. This is Cantrell. I'm talking about the first story. 11 infants. Said the infants were really small in size. It got reported later. I don't know how many days later that many of those 11 infants, actually 10 of the 11, were actually fetuses and not infants. I remember thinking at the time that obviously it's abhorrent that they were storing uh, you know deceased infants the way they were, obviously. But I also remember thinking like that was a lot of sort of dead children, and I mean, I didn't think too hard about it, but it just seemed like a lot for a funeral home. I mean, that's not something that happens too often, children dying. I mean, it does happen, but um, and it was, like I said, it was changed to fetuses, and they opened a criminal investigation, for that. And actually, since then, again, I'm still on Cantrell. They found the remains of 4 other individuals that were ashes in the basement of that place. And it said that brought the total, still on Cantrell, not the news story, the total of unattended remains found at Cantrell Funeral Home on Detroit's east side to 38. I don't know how that brings it to 38. There must be previous incidents. Um, in any event, okay, this news story, but it is fetuses. 10 of the 11 are fetuses. So, and it's still, I've been wanting to kind of follow up on that, and then this story just dropped right now of 63 fetuses at a different funeral home fairly close by. I mean, this is Perry Funeral Home. This is Cantrell Funeral Home. They're both kind of in the same vicinity. I think Perry's here. Um, and I'm going to read that story. It's late and I'm so tired. But just the fact that they're fetuses, it's like, why are they fetuses? I mean, why would there be fetuses at a funeral home? So, but now you have a different funeral home. I never even got an answer to my own question from the first story, and now you have this second story drop with 63 remains of fetuses, removed from Perry Funeral Home in Detroit. And let me just and there's a lawsuit. This came to the police department's attention because when um, a father who has an ongoing lawsuit with Perry, saw the story of Cantrell, he brought it to the police's attention, that this might be going on here, something like that, and then the discovery was made. So it says about the Perry Funeral Home. It's on Trumbull, just north of Warren Avenue, excuse me. In a rapidly widening investigation of Metro Detroit Funeral Home, Detroit police executed a search warrant at a West Side funeral home near Wayne State University and removed 63 remains of fetuses, police said. Custody of the remains found at the Perry Funeral Home just north of Warren Avenue. And actually, there's a picture here. That's it right there. And that's pictured in the one of the articles. I think this article. The custody of the remains was turned over to state investigators, who immediately declared the business closed and its license suspended, according to a statement from Michigan Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. Of the grisly total, there were 36 fetuses stored in boxes and another 27 found in freezers, police said. Friday's discovery of the decomposed remains followed a similar grisly finding last week at the defunct Cantrell Funeral Home on Detroit's east side, where 11 infants' remains were found after an anonymous letter arrived in the offices of state regulators in Lansing. And actually, those 11 infants, that was changed to 10 of them are fetuses and one was an infant. So Friday's raid at the Perry home came after Detroit homicide detectives also raided QA Cantrell Funeral Homes in East Point to investigate a potential connection with the fetuses found in the ceiling of Cantrell Funeral Home in Detroit. Okay, because I think, I'm getting lost now, but I think Cantrell has two different locations. When I searched Cantrell, I had one came up here, and there was another one, up here. So I think that's what it's referencing, is there's multiple locations. And you're just gonna have to bear with me because it's late, and it's just what's got me. Obviously, it's not. It's extremely wrong that they're not taking care of the dead properly. But my question is why are they fetuses? I mean, why are there fetuses at a funeral home? So, but let me just continue. So, detectives seized computers, business cell phones, and paperwork, according to the news release. They also raided the home of the owner, Anita Cantrell, the widow of the deceased founder of the Detroit home with the same name. That's so strange. So wait a second. I'm totally confused. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or what. They're mixing up the two stories. The Cantrell Funeral Home, Anita Cantrell. I don't think they're related to the Perry Funeral Home. That's what I'm trying. I don't think they are. Detroit Police Chief James Craig said he was stunned. I have never seen anything like this in my 41 and a half years. So Craig said police were tipped off to violations at the Perry Funeral Home by a father involved in a civil suit over the improper burial of his infant daughter. Lawyers for the father, as well as the mother of the deceased baby, said the parents are plaintiffs in a lawsuit that they hope will allow them to represent dozens, perhaps scores, of parents whose infants' remains were improperly handled by Perry Funeral Home. The case representing could become a class action lawsuit. We already thought we had a strong case, and then when the news started hitting the media about Cantrell, our clients agreed that we should take what we know to the highest level of the Detroit Police Department, Parks said Friday. I think Parks is the attorney. Parks said he and his co-counsel on the case, Daniel Cieslak, presented what they knew on Friday to a meeting led by Craig that included the FBI, Michigan State Police, Wayne County prosecutors, the Michigan Attorney General's office, LARA, which is the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, you name it. The two attorneys said they believe many more infants' remains may be found in the improper possession of the Perry Funeral Home, perhaps as many as 200, based on their research of log books kept by the Wayne State University School of Mortuary Science. Funeral home routinely deposit infant remains at WSU school's morgue, then failed to follow up with parents' wishes for the remains to be used in research by the WSU School of Medicine, they said. I'm really wondering where all the rest of them are. Cieslak said late Friday. The lawsuit filed by the two charges that Perry may have fraudulently billed Medicaid as well as the Detroit Medical Center for burials it never performed. The lawyers said they can't estimate how much money might be involved, but it must be significant. We already have people calling us after seeing the news saying this happened to me, he said. Parks and Cieslak filed the civil suit against Perry, also naming DMC, Harper Hutzel Hospital, Wayne State University, and Knollwood Memorial Park Cemetery as defendants on behalf of Detroiters Rachel Brown and Larry Davis. Their deceased daughter suffered at birth from severe respiratory problems and survived only 27 minutes after she was born on December 8, 2014. And it continues that they're basically trying to turn it into a class action, which changes, the legal ramifications of the situation big time. But just the fact that, the tie to the university seems strange to me. You have two funeral homes pretty close to each other, you know, doing seemingly making similar major violations with fetuses. It's very strange. It's obviously horrible, but I think there's way more to it. I don't know. All right, you'll just have to forgive my lousy reading, but it's pretty unbelievable. And that is the story there, man, for now. As soon as I know more, they'll probably, and it's interesting, it's Friday, Saturday, early morning hours that this is coming across. Obviously, this was reported today, but it's just, Friday night. Timing seems a little bit, suspect. Alright, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.